Hello, you are now watching WNHN.
Hello, I'm Phoebe.
And I am Nathan. Welcome to WNHN.
Today we have Alex for local news on the Boston bombings,
Brian with the Boston Bruins history,
Carter on trash and recycling,
Dakota with why you shouldn't text and drive,
Amity with our winter snowstorms,
Phoebe with science.
and Nathan with the Mars mystery.
That's right.
Now we're going to Alex for our news on 2013's bombing.
Thanks, Phoebe. Guilty, guilty, guilty. 32 times that word was spoken. Hi, my name is Alex. Zohar Tsarnaev was on trial for the Boston Marathon 2013 bombings, which caused injuries and 3 fatalities. Martin Richards' family expressed concern that if the judge said Tsarnaev should be put to death, the case would be appealed for years to come. They want him out of the spotlight. A woman who suffered injuries sustained in the Boston bombing posted a letter to the suspect, Zohar Tsarnaev, saying, "You are a coward, a little boy who wouldn't even look me in the eye to see that because you can't handle the fact that what you tried to destroy you only made stronger." Zohar Tsarnaev was arrested and will either face a death penalty or a prison sentence for the rest of his life. The mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh, has created a day of remembrance for the marathon bombing called One Boston Day. It will definitely be a day to remember. Back to you, Phoebe.
Thanks, Alex. That was interesting.
I can't believe they would do something like that.
I was in Florida when it occurred and you were still in the news there.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, now we will go to Brian with the history of the Boston Bruins.
Thanks, Nate. Have you ever wanted to know about your favorite sports team? Then I'm here to fulfill that dream. The Boston Bruins were one of the original 6 teams. The other 5 were the Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks, Montreal Canadiens, New York Rangers, and Toronto Maple Leafs. The Bruins went to 19 Stanley Cups and only won 6. The Boston Bruins won their debut game against the Montreal Maroons 2-1, but the season of 1925 was not a successful season. The Bruins had 6 wins and 24 losses. Another major highlight for the Bruins is when they picked up one of the most legendary players that had ever played the game. His name was Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr was a defenseman, and he was only 18 when he got into the league. He made Rookie of the Year and made it to the second All-Star team. This all happened in 1966. Later in the 1970s playoffs, Bobby Orr scored a goal in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Blues that won them their first Stanley Cup since 1941. His goal celebration was made into a statue that is now located in front of the Boston Garden. But sadly, a couple years later, Orr retired. After Bobby Orr retired, two great players came along. Ray Bourque came in 1979 and Zdeno Chara got into the league in 1997. Ray Bourque played in 20 NHL All-Star games. He won trophy for Best Defenseman 5 times, and the Bruins traded Ray Bourque to the Colorado Avalanche so he could win a Stanley Cup. The Bruins fans were glad that he won the cup in Colorado, but the Bruins organization picked up another defenseman who, matter of fact, still plays. His name is Zdeno Chara. Zdeno Chara was drafted to the New York Islanders in 1997, but in 2007 he went to the Bruins. Zdeno Chara is now team captain. He has a monstrous size of 6'9" and a weight of 256 pounds. But Zdeno Chara is 7 feet on hockey skates, and the NHL allows him to have a stick of 65 inches, which is the longest in the NHL. So the Bruins have many wonderful defensemen. Hopefully they'll have more great ones in the future. Slapping it over to you, Nathan.
Wow, I can't believe the Bruins had so many great defensemen.
I know, at least he had chances of winning these past winters.
Well, now it's time to go with Carter on his scoop on recycling.
Thanks, Nate. You have just finished your favorite soft drink. Have you ever wondered what happens when you throw that bottle away? According to the Waste Management website, Waste Management collects about 20 million residential, business, industrial, and commercial customers. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, Americans generate trash at an astonishing rate of 4.6 pounds per day per person, which translates to 251 million tons per year. This is almost twice as much trash per person as most other countries. It It is also a fact that during your lifetime, you will produce 600 times your own weight in trash. That bottle of soft drink in your hand becomes part of the household trash on trash day. Your trash gets picked up by waste management, our town trash collectors. There are many better ways of disposing of our trash than landfills. Landfills are bulldozed into the ground and can create a toxic soil, water pollution, take up space, and produces an awful stench. If you recycle the bottle, your bottle is separated from other trash into recyclable containers or zapped with high voltage electricity to break down the molecules to create PET plastic. PET plastic is a safe, non-toxic, recyclable material that is safe for the storage of food and beverages. Flower pots and plastic pipes are also made from recycled plastic. Other materials such as glass jars and cans will be melted down and turned into new food containers. So before you throw away that trash, remember to recycle to save our environment. Back to you, Nate.
That's pretty cool.
On that note, let's go to Amity with her view on this winter's snowstorms.
Thanks, Phoebe. How many times this winter did you hear the winter's end already? The blizzard 2015 may have been very frustrating for many New England states, but the blizzard January through April will go in the world record books for eastern Massachusetts. National Weather Service Regional, HDQTRS, said some of the winter snowstorms had extremely strong winds. They brought down trees, poles, and damaged homes and other buildings. Heavy snow makes roofs collapse. Trees and power lines can be destroyed by heavy snow. Heavy ice can bring down trees, unipoles, power lines, and communication towers. Power can be lost for days. Below freezing temperatures can make pipes freeze and burst inside homes. If anyone's skin is exposed, it can make life threatening. A wind chill of -20 with light winds can make you have frostbite in just 30 minutes. You most likely get frostbite on the tip of your nose, toes, and earlobes. Below freezing temperatures also damage circuits, fruits, crops, and other vegetables. Back to you, Phoebe.
I honestly hated all the snowstorms. A good thing we had snow days.
Or else we would be stuck in school or at home.
Exactly.
Now we'll go to Dakota with why you shouldn't text and drive.
Thanks, Nathan. Imagine driving along the road peacefully, then your car gets hit. The reason the other person was texting and driving. According to the website stoptextstoprex.org, it only takes a couple of seconds to park a car, so people should wait a couple of seconds to check their phone. If you're texting and driving, your car can get in an accident. You could drive into another car, tree, snowbank, even go through a red light. 5 seconds, that's enough time to get in an accident while texting. If you are texting and driving, it's more likely to get in a car accident. If people have to call or text someone, they should pull over or go into a light and text or call someone. It's especially bad to be texting and driving in the snow. When you're on the ice while texting, your car could be slipping off the road. Would you like to know how many people are texting and driving every day? According to acer.org, there's about 1,000 people on their phone while texting. There's about 2,000 people killed each year while texting and driving. People are on their phone each day texting, watching a video, and talking. Now do you think people should be texting and driving or not? Now drivers, don't text and drive. Back to you, Nathan.
That's happened so many times. Now let's go to Phoebe with sugar science.
Thanks, Nathan. Do you like to have sugary drinks or foods? Well, stop right there because you might not want to have it anymore. According to sugarscience.com, liquid sugar is a top source of sugar added into sodas, some lemonades, energy drinks, and sports drinks. The added sugar takes up some of the American diet, aka 36% of the sugar we eat or drink. Time for Kids says, too much sugar can cause cavities, health problems, and maybe even diabetes. You can watch out by looking at the ingredients, but may go by names. Try fructose corn syrup, for example. Ingredients that end with OSC or syrup may have added sugar. Here's some science for you. When you eat a treat, you set off these buds on your tongue called sugar receptors. The sugar receptors send signals to the brain saying they've eaten a sweet. A chemical called dopamine is released, and it makes you feel happy, plus making you want more sugar, which so you could keep being happy. This can affect our decisions on what food to eat, says Nicole Lavina, a scientist. Still, I'm not telling you not to have sugar. It's not evil, but you can still get sicknesses from it. The average American consumes nearly 3 times the recommended amount of sugar, which is taking a large toll on America's health, says Laura Schmidt, a PhD, a UCFS professor. Sugar, in the opinion of many people, is not the bad guy, but the people who have too much of it. Once again, I'm not telling you not to have sugar. I'm not in charge of you. Just stay safe and eat well. Stay healthy, Londonderry, and you too, Nathan.
I will.
Now let's go right to Nathan with the mystery of Mars.
Thanks, Phoebe. Would you like to know how Mars lost its air? Well, according to Time for Kids, Mars was once warm. It had water, air, but billions of years ago, the planet lost its atmosphere and its water. Its water dried up and turned into the cold, dry planet of today. Jared Espley told TFK, "Our best guess is that the solar wind, a very thin gas that flows from the sun, has been gradually blowing away bits of the air of Mars." Also said they were interested in finding out where the escaping air would go and how it would travel. It took 10 months for NASA's Maven spacecraft to reach Mars' atmosphere. It will orbit for a year and study its upper atmosphere. NASA's Robot on Wheels, the Opportunity and Spirit rovers, have been exploring the planet's surface since January 2004, searching for signs of past water activity. Although the Spirit died in 2011, the Opportunity, though experiencing some problems with memory, is still at work, with NASA's 2 other rovers hoping to learn how a planet's climate or environment changes over time. Because Mars is most like Earth, the goal is to send humans there in the year 2030. Back to you, Phoebe.
You would think that they've already gone to Mars. Well, thank you for watching WNHN. Stay classy, Londonderry.
Hi, and welcome to WNFL, Weather News for Londonderry.
Hello, I'm Cole.
Hello, I'm Zelda.
And I'm Keegan. Today we have Abby with the dress, Zelda with drinking and driving,
Christian with educational video games, Ryan with Patriots history,
Felicia with how devices affect your sleep, and Cole with Boston's snowfall record. And last, King with a German Wings plane crash.
and now here's Abby with her story, The Dress.
Thanks, Zelda. The dress, an internet phenomenon, white and gold or blue and black. A little while ago, a dress sparked the internet with a debate. One website took a poll and received over 28 million votes, with white and gold getting the most votes. Even celebrities took the vote. Taylor Swift said it looked blue and black. According to the designer, Taylor Swift was right. What could cause this to happen? People seeing different things? Scientists have come up with a few theories. The retina, a layer of tissue that lines the back of the eye, contains millions of light-detecting cells. A lot of these cells, called cones, sense colors, like red, blue, and green. Douche Taden is a scientist who studies the brain and visions at the University of Rochester in New York. He told the New York Times that the number of blue cones a person has may determine how well they see that color. The lighting conditions when the photo was taken could have also been the reason for the confusion. Their brains might adjust for this by dialing down these shades. This can alter how that person perceives the dress's color. The new internet sensation is the cat going up or down the stairs? What do you think, Keegan?
I think it's going up the stairs.
No, it's going down the stairs.
And now we have Zelda with drinking and driving.
Thanks, Keegan. Drinking and driving simply do not go together. NCADD, the National Council of Alcoholism, report that the human brain has to deal against many has to deal against many things and process countless data all the time. Alcohol affects attentiveness and one's ability to make quick decisions on the road, react to changes in the environment, and execute specific, often difficult maneuvers behind the wheel. When drinking alcohol, driving becomes very dangerous. About every 2 minutes, a person is injured in a drunk driving accident. The rate of drunk driving is highest among 21 to 25-year-olds. Every day, almost 80 people die in the United States in motor vehicle crashes, says Statistic Brain. That's 10,950 people that die each year. The prison time if you are caught drunk driving is 1 to 10 years. Despite increased public awareness, drinking and drunk driving continues. Hundreds of thousands more are injured. Alcohol-related crashes cost American taxpayers over $100 billion. Over 1.4 million arrests for DWI each year are convicted, says National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, NCADD. So, don't drink and drive. Back to you, Keegan.
I never knew so many people drink and drive.
It's very deadly to drink and drive. And now here's Christian with his story on educational video games.
Thanks, Cole. Do you like video games? Do your parents or grandparents tell you it's bad? Well, they are partially right. According to ABC News, computer games are known as a bad thing for kids, but they may also help you learn. Some games, such as Roblox, develop skills in creativity and problem solving. As game developers who code or build from playing their favorite games. A very detailed game can help you build more detailed. You can learn to code by practicing or using such as script helpers. They can help you or you can teach to others. You can also make custom-made or edited tools you can download called plugins, but first you need experience with coding. You can test the scripts by using the Roblox script scanner from line to line, which can also tell you what to add. Well, that builds this wall between us. Back to you, Cole.
And now here's Ryan with Patriots history.
Thanks, Zelda. Have you ever wondered about the history of the Boston Patriots? It all began on November 16th, 1959, when a Boston businessman, Billy Sullivan Jr., was awarded the 8th and final franchise of the American Football League. During that time, the Patriots didn't have a home stadium and played on several different college fields around the Boston area, and in Fenway Park, the Red Sox baseball stadium. In 1971, after the National Football League and the American Football League merged, the Boston Patriots became the New England Patriots and moved to a new stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. From 1976 to 1992, the Patriots had to adapt to new ownership and coaching styles as the team was sold several times. Robert Kraft bought the Patriots in 1994 and opened the new home field in Gillette Stadium in 2002. The New England Patriots under coach Bill Belichick have shown their skills by winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years and becoming the only 4th team in history to go undefeated for a season. They also had made the playoffs 9 out of 12 seasons. The Patriots have given us many thrilling victories, and we look forward to next season. Go Pats! Back to you, Keegan.
It's great that the Patriots have a long and cool history.
And now here's Felicia with her story on how electronic devices affect sleep.
Thanks, Cole. Are you having trouble sleeping? It could be your tablet. 89% of kids in America have devices. Kids play on their devices all day. Most kids even play on their devices at night. That can affect your sleep. According to the Washington Post, everyone has something in their brain called the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a pea-sized organ in your brain that releases melatonin a few hours before your bedtime, which makes you drowsy. However, light, particularly blue light, can keep the pineal gland from releasing melatonin, so going to sleep with a tablet or laptop will be a bit harder. According to Time for Kids, making sure you get the right amount of sleep takes work, but it's worth the effort. The American Academy of Pediatricians advise children to stop looking at screens at least half an hour before bedtime. Doing so will help your brain slow down and get your body ready for sleep. The American Academy of Pediatricians says bedrooms should be screen-free zones. To guarantee a good night's sleep, listen to soothing music or read a book and stay away from your devices. Back to you, Zelda.
Now on, I'm going to stop using my devices before going to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Now here's Cole with Boston's new snowfall record.
Thanks, Keegan. Boston's a champion again. Stanley Cup, World Series, Super Bowl, and snow. Hello, I'm Cole. According to the Boston Globe, Boston broke another record just after 7 p.m. Sunday, March 15th. The grand total at the Logan International Airport was 108.6 inches. That's 9 feet and 6/10 of an inch. The previous record was set in the winter of 1995 to 1996, where the total was 107.6 inches. Records for Boston started being kept in 1872. Some people were rooting for the record, others were very cold and miserable. Also, it snowed on Friday, March 20th, and added 1.7 inches, so now the grand total is 110.3 inches. If the temperature had been above 32 degrees, this would have been a catastrophe. It would have increased the snow's weight and devastated the power grid, and stress levels would have increased, as if they haven't already. There are more effects on the tidal city of Boston. Boston spent a shocking $50 million trying to move the snow. Subway and commuter rail system was shattered. Snow eaten to ceiling. Cemeteries could not hold burials. People lost their dogs, and there are piles of trash everywhere. Snowplows accidentally buried a car under snow. Cars were buried and people could not get anywhere. 7 accidents occurred, but no one was injured. There is added time to get somewhere in a car or public transportation. Patience is growing smaller for citizens of Boston. I know what you're thinking. How has this much snow fallen? I'll tell you just that. Global warming creates a warmer ocean with more water vapor. A warmer atmosphere can hold more water vapor. That leads to more precipitation. Deeper currents in the jet stream lead to extreme cold and low pressure in the eastern part of the U.S. and heat and drought with high pressure in the west. Now I know how Boston got iced. Back to you, Keegan.
Wow, that's a lot of snow. New Hampshire was lucky this year.
And now here's Keegan with the Germanwings plane crash.
Thanks, Zelda. Do you feel safe in planes? Sadly, on March 24th, 2015, Flight 9525, Germanwings plane crashed into the French Alps. Researchers believe that the co-pilot, Andres Lubitz, researched and figured out how to hack the cockpit security codes. He then locked the pilot out of the cockpit and reset the autopilot to take the plane from 38,000 feet to 96 feet and into the mountainside. Unfortunately, that was not the only situation. For example, recently we saw Malaysia Airlines, TransAsia Airways Flight 222, Taiwan, and Air Algerie Flight 5017. You may wonder if statistically the skies are getting more dangerous. You may ask yourself whether 2014 is trending toward one of the deadliest years in aviation history. Experts say no, don't be nervous, just look at the big picture. It's safer in planes than in cars. According to Statistic Brain, in the past 5 years, there's been over 25 million car crashes and just 1,000 plane crashes. In the span of 138 days, 700 air passengers and flight crew lost their lives. Different circumstances surround each crash, but some travelers might be concerned about their safety when flying. I know I am. Now back to you, Zelda.
Our hearts go out to the families.
Hope you enjoyed our stories.
That's it for today.
Thanks for watching WNFL.
Welcome to WORD.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Caitlin. Welcome to WORD. Today we will be hearing from Nick with Nintendo News,
Fred with news on the Blossoms Hotel,
Nathan with global warming issues,
Caitlin statistics about texting and driving,
Alex with tsunami news, and Katie on the 2016 Olympics.
Did you know that Nintendo is a Japanese company?
No, really?
Yeah, let's find out more from Nick.
Thanks, Katie. Now, I've always wondered, since Nintendo is a Japanese company, do they put Japanese culture and myths in their games? The answer might just surprise you. Let's start off with their top game series, The Legend of Zelda. In The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, there's a gigantic catfish in the game that gives you an item. Any American playing the game would just shrug it off. But if you live in Japan, you might recall the story of the Namzu, the gigantic catfish. The story is about a gigantic catfish that saved the people from earthquakes. But years later, the story was changed so that the Namzu was the one causing the earthquakes. But it does help you by giving you an item that helps defeat the boss in the game. It's so interesting that this small little thing has so much cultural meaning behind it. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg. In the game series Super Smash Bros., the character Fox has attacks called the Fire Fox and the Fox Illusion. But this is rather odd. In his games, he's never shown exploding in a ball of fire or teleporting. The reason is that these attacks are based off of the Japanese legend of the kitsune. These kitsune had multiple tails. As he got older, the more tails they got. The more tails, the more powers. They could do things that Fox does in Super Smash Bros., but the kitsune could do so much more. They could even bend space and time. But like I said, this isn't even the tip of the iceberg. For instance, 1990's Chrono Trigger and near complete parallel of the Jesus Bible story, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and its African myth ties, Toban is based off of Navajo legend of Mega Man 6. There's so much to cover in so little time. Thank you for listening. Maybe next time you see something interesting in a video game by Nintendo, you might find out it has a major cultural meaning behind it. Back to you, Katie.
Wow, that's so cool.
Did you know that the Blossom's Hotel was almost lost?
Really?
Yeah, so let's roll on over to Fred with more details.
Caitlin, New Hampshire almost lost a historic nationally known hotel. The Blossom's Hotel dates back to the 1860s. It closed in 2010 after a controlled fire to destroy part of the building. The Tillotson family would proudly lead Dixville's first in the nation voting, in which the small town selected Vice President Richard Nixon. This tradition would make the Balsams and Dixville nationally known. It is to be reopened in 2016. Dan DeGessie is buying the Balsams from the Tillotson family in the hope of rebuilding the restaurant and hotel rooms, and also saving thousands of jobs that were lost. What makes this hotel valuable is its beautiful lake, pool, golf course, and instant trail access. Dan is going to try and triple the size of the ski mountain. You cannot get close to the windmills, so DeGessie wants to make the ski mountain the largest ski mountain in New Hampshire, so people can be at the top and see the windmills. Maybe you can see the windmills. Back to you, Katie.
Thanks, Fred. I'm so glad that Dan is going to buy and restore the historic building. I love maple syrup, but we might not get a lot anymore since they might raise the prices a lot.
Yeah, that's sad.
So let's head on over to Nathan with more news on the global warming.
Thanks, Katie. Do you enjoy that sweet, sticky taste on top of most pancakes? Well, don't get used to it. Acidic rain and global warming are two of the many reasons why maple sugaring trees are dying. In some places like Pennsylvania and New York, acidic rain is the problem. This rain can break roots and sometimes even branches. It makes terrible soil for maple trees. There is also extreme weather like snowstorms, tropical storms, and droughts. Droughts make the trees have less storage for starches that make up the syrup. Tropical storms and ice storms just cause a lot of damage to all trees. Global warming is the major effect of why sugaring season is shrinking. It appears sugaring season will be migrating to Canada in the next 75 years. As recently as the 1950s, Canada produced 20% of the syrup, while the U.S. produced 80% worldwide. Syrup season is migrating north, which has caused a shift. Sap flow relies on freeze-thaw periods, and global warming is affecting that regular sap flow. Vermont gets $15 million in direct sales each year from maple syrup production. There are 4,000 seasonal jobs in just Vermont. These all may be lost, says Martha Carlson, New Hampshire University graduate. What might that do to our economy? So enjoy that syrup while you can. Over to you, Caitlin.
Wow, I had no idea global warming could affect the maple sugaring business that much.
Yeah, I guess that global warming will really have a big effect on our lives. Do you bother to put down your phone when you drive? You might want to after you hear these words. Let's go on over to Caitlin.
Thanks, Katie. Hi, did you know that texting while driving actually makes you 23 times more likely to crash? Well, it's true. According to WSB News, nearly 3 out of 10 people believe they can multitask while driving. There is a psychological mechanism where people don't think that it is even dangerous, says Dr. David Greenfield. Earl K. Miller, a professor of neuroscience at MIT, says studies have shown that the people who have the most confidence in multitasking are actually the worst at it. Reported by the Washington Post, about 1,060 people crash and die each day, all from using an electronic device while driving. This means that there is a death every 2.6 hours and 44 deaths per hour. Assert.com says nearly 1.3 million people crash and die each year.
According to CBS News, talking on the phone or texting while driving is the most common behavior to distract teenage drivers. 12% of those teenagers looked away for at least 4 seconds, which is long enough for an accident to occur. Females did it more often than males. According to Milford Daily News, Governor Maggie Hassan has signed a bill banning texting and driving as well as anything else on a phone or electronic. If someone does any of this while driving, there is a $100 to $500 fine. $100 if it's the first time, $250 if it's the second time, and $500 if it's any more than that. This proves that texting while driving has gone too far. There is one thing we all know for sure about this, and it is that texting while driving needs to stop once and for all. Back to you, Katie.
Wow, when I start driving, I don't want to have my phone in my hand.
Yeah. Did you know tsunamis can be over 500 feet tall?
Really? Isn't it so cool? I researched it for my science project.
Here's Alex with more facts for us.
Caitlin, a 500-foot wave might sound good to the surfer, but when it is part of a tsunami, it can be very dangerous. A tsunami is dangerous because it can reach over 100 feet tall. A tsunami is formed by earthquakes, underwater landslides, and volcanoes. Tsunamis can be over 100 feet tall and destroy towns by flooding streets and houses. They are also dangerous because of the force they bring, which can knock over cities. If you see a tsunami, get to high ground and warn people. Getting to high grounds is important because you are less likely to be drowned or crushed. If you are low ground, the street is more likely to flood. Low ground is also dangerous because of the huge wave crashes down, it brings tons of force, and you will be crushed with a lot of water. Tsunamis are really dangerous. It's a volcano, earthquake, and underwater landslide rolled into one. These deadly things kill 250,000 a year. Look out for these massive waves. Back to you, Caitlin.
Wow, I never knew tsunamis could be so powerful.
They are magnificent, huge waves that they can tear down the most secure cities. Speaking of huge cities, I can't wait for the Olympics.
Yeah, let's hear from Katie on more news about the 2016 Olympics.
Thanks, Caitlin. Today we're going to investigate a question that I've been asking myself lately. Who will make up the 2016 women's gymnastics team? Hi, I'm Katie. Here are the gymnasts you will most likely see at the 2016 Olympics, according to Amy Van Duzen, our gymnastics expert. Simone Biles, Kyla Ross, Bailey Key, Jasmine Faubourg, Nia Dennis, Rachel Gowie, Lexi Priestman. The 2012 Olympic all-around champion has been hard at work on a comeback, and if anyone can do it, Gabby Douglas can, says Amy Van Duzen. Gabby Douglas won gold in the all-around and in the team competition. Allie Raisman is another member of the 2012 Olympic team working hard on making a striking comeback. In 2012, she won gold on floor and in the team competition. She hopes to win another gold medal. Michaela Maroney is still one of the world's best vaulters and is hoping to come back to prove her skill. Her usual vault is the Amanor vault. A round off onto the board, a back handspring onto the table, to a back layout with 2.5 twists. Michaela is part of the Fab Five, a team that won gold in the team competition. Michaela Skinner can compete lots of hard skills on vault, like the Cheng vault. The Cheng vault is a round off, half onto the table, to a front flip with 1.5 twists. All of these gymnasts deserve to go, but they can only pick a few. Well, I know that I'll be looking after the trials. Back to you, Caitlin.
Now I can't wait for the Olympics either.
Yeah, well, now that it's over.
Thanks for watching WORD.